afternoon, everybody. A quick audio-visual check. I hope I'm audible and clearly visible.
Yes, Hemant.
Thanks, Garima. A warm welcome to all of you. Without wasting further time, let's start with our today's webinar. It's so good to see a lot of people who had already joined in. Uh, It's just a bit of housekeeping rules before to begin with. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A box. We will take them at the end of the session. So today's session, we are talking about INP, which is interaction to next paint. As you all know, Google has replaced FID, which is first input delay, by the interaction to INP on March 12. It is a stable core web vital metric now, which is available in PSI reports. So in the today's agenda, we will broadly cover what INP is, what are the components of INP, FAQs around INP, while we have interacted with a lot of publishers and we have compiled a lot of FAQs around it, and then the practical tips how to optimize the INP and a live demo of one of the URL. So today, I also have with me my colleague Garima Sharma, who will take you through the technical aspect of the measurement of INP and helping you with all the FAQs. So a warm welcome to INP2. So let's understand what is interaction to next paint. So INP is a stable core web vital metric that assesses a page's overall responsiveness to user interactions by observing the latency of all qualifying interactions that occur throughout the lifespan of a user's visit on the page. Let's understand with this with an example. So INP measures and the INP measurement journey starts with the user input and it covers the whole journey when user sees a visual update. So that is the main difference between FID and INP. FID talks about the first user interaction and the delay, but INP takes care of the whole user journey where the user sees a visual update. So these are the typical components of INP. The first one is any delay in the user input when there could be some background task on the page that blocks the interaction. Secondly, the processing time. And finally, the delay in loading the page layout and content of the page. So INP does brings out a holistic picture of user interaction on the pages. So it measures the delay in the whole user journey of the page. The most important thing that we need to understand what is a good metric of INP. What is the measurement here? So a good INP is less than 200 millisecond. Anything above 500 millisecond requires a serious attention to be looked into. Since we have talked a lot about core web vitals in various sessions and the webinars which we have hosted in the past. So let's understand why INP is released as a stable metric in March. INP first appeared last year as an experimental metrics where a lot of user-related field data was captured in optimizing what would be the best metric for measuring the user interaction patterns and any delay and how to optimize the overall speed. We have compiled a lot of FAQs which we received from a lot of publisher interaction which we had in the past. And we will now discuss those FAQs. So I invite Garima to help me with answering all of these questions.
Thank you, Hemant, for the quick introduction of the INP. Let's just start with the FAQs.
Okay, the very first FAQ which we have received is, why do we even need INP when FID is already there?
Okay, Hemant, I have interacted with a lot of publishers on this, and as you said, this is a very common question which majority of publishers asked is, why do we need INP when FID is there? So yes, it's very important fact that we need to understand. So can you just move to next slide?
Yes, so
basically FID is limited. By limited, I mean FID only measures the initial processing delay, while INP measures the full amount of time between the user input and the UI update. So FID only counts the first user interaction on a page, while INP looks at roughly the worst delay. So by this, it takes into account the browser to start processing the user input. But the actual time spent responding to the event or updating the UI isn't included. So in conclusion, INP presents a more holistic approach to interface responsiveness.
That's quite insightful, Garima. Um, Moving on to our next FAQ. Is interaction to next paint a core web vital metric? Is INP a core web vital metric?
Yes, it is, Himit. Becoming a core web vital metrics means that poor interaction to next pane can impact your Google search rankings. So, however, having said that, while INP is a new factor in a core web vital, but it's important to remember that these metrics are considered secondary SEO signals. So, the content quality, the freshness, uniqueness of the content still plays a major role in boosting your search ranking.
So we can still say that content is still a king.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So is INP a field metric? And what does it
Uh,
mean by being a field metric?
A field metric is basically means that it requires the real world data. So the interaction to next paint metric requires user input, basically the user input to measure, and so is generally available in the field data collected from real users. These users are using real devices. Some of them could be on slow connection, lower end devices. So this brings real world data on how your users are interacting to your content, and that's why it's a field metric.
Okay. The next question is, how does INP measure the page response? Does it measure the slowest response on the page? There could be multiple interactions. So how does this data is even measured?
Yes, it's a good question to understand how exactly it gets measured. So let's say when a user visits a page, they may click on multiple different UI elements, and let's get it understand via example. Let's say if they are filling out a form, they need to press many keys on their keyboard. But in that case, how does INP account for that? I guess so. INP will report the slowest 2% of UI responses. For example, let's say if a page takes 50 milliseconds to respond to 100 interactions, and then there is one interaction with say, let's say 300 millisecond delay, with then INP will be reported as 50 milliseconds. And it ignores the one interaction with a 3 milliseconds delay. That means the worst delay will be reported, but if a page receives a lot of interactions, only one of the slowest will be reported.
Okay, so it does take the 75 percentile of the interaction which is happening on the pages, right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay, that's good to understand. Moving on to our next FAQ, which publishers have asked, user does a lot of interaction on the pages. So what are those interactions which INP consider in terms of measurement? Can we understand that?
Yeah, yeah. Hemant, see, what happens is there are many interactions that users do on the web pages. Some users are on desktop and some on mobile. So interactions on both platforms are important to measure. So like some users may tap or scroll or pinch to zoom in like we do in galleries. So let's understand what all user interactions are tracked in INP. So basically, INP measures the mouse clicks, the taps, the key presses. Hovering and scrolling does not factor into INP, but scrolling with the keyboard. Let's say we have space bar, page up, page down, and so forth keys, which involves a keystroke. So which can trigger other events that INP does measure. But any resulting scrolling isn't factored into the INP calculations.
So that's good to know. So in conclusion, mouse clicks, taps, or any key presses should be taken in account when we are optimizing our INP.
Yes.
Okay. So the most important question, I mean, whenever we are talking about core web vitals, at the end, every publisher wants to improve their search ranking. And as we all know that core web vitals are one of the key ranking factor in terms of measuring it. Does INP, when it replaces FID, is also a search ranking? We have worked a lot, all the publishers have worked a lot in optimizing their FID. Now, when FID is getting removed and it is getting replaced by INP, will it impact their search ranking? Do they need to start working on their search ranking factors from scratch? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, definitely. See, we have learned so far that INP is a stable core web vital matrix that assesses a page overall responsiveness to user interactions. by observing the latency of all the qualifying interactions that occur throughout the lifespan of a user journey. So this shift from FID to INP may impact websites' user experience and their SEO performance. So it happens because the Google's algorithm, they prioritize websites that provide a better page experience to its users, which is quite obvious. So websites with fast and responsive interactivity, as measured by INP, are likely to receive better rankings in search results. However, here is the important point to note that is Google does not impose direct penalties for not meeting INP requirements. Instead, the consequences lie in user behavior. Like we can see website with poor interactivity and slow INP may experience higher bounce rates and lower user engagement, affecting SEO and their SERP rankings. But in a nutshell, as I have already mentioned, I will again emphasize that while core web vitals are a major ranking factors, but creating relevant content still remains more important for SEO than serving it quickly.
So you mean we can say that Google prioritize user experience and what content the user is getting on particular keyword more with respect to the core web vitals. Core web vitals is secondary, but ultimately the user experience that matters for Google and the searchers as well.
Yes, this is
Okay.
what gets reflected in the core web vital metrics as well.
Okay, so here this all covers about what INP is, what are the factors behind INP, how we can how it will impact the search, and why it is important to even track the measurement so that we can fix it. The most important thing here comes is what are those tools which are available to measure INP.
Okay. So, Hemant, as we have already mentioned and highlighted that to ensure a positive user experience, website should aim for an INP of 200 milliseconds or lower. And to enhance the INP score, it's crucial to identify factors which contributes to poor INP. And getting that data is essential to assess if the website INP is poor or requires enhancement. And once you get this data, the next step involves the resolution or resolution to the issues. So let's explore various tools and techniques for pinpointing and measuring INP. So, okay, as most of us know and know that most common tool for assessing page performance is PageSpeed Insight, which evaluates the performance of web pages on both mobile and desktop platforms. It basically generates a score which considering multiple matrices, including INP as well now, and offers recommendations and suggestions which encompass optimizing your JavaScript execution, minimizing render blocking resources, and so on. So it's a tool which provides an overview of potential improvement areas to enable you to prioritize optimization for an enhanced user experience. Another one which is popular is Google Search Console, which primarily focuses on providing insights into search performance and site visibility in Google search results. And to improve INP based on your Google Search Console data, you will get all those URLs clubbed together, which do not meet the INP benchmark. And this way you can review them and fix the INP using the various opportunities and revalidate those URLs in Google Search Console.
So if I reiterate it, to measure the INP data, publishers need to use Google PageSpeed Insight tools. And
Right.
whatever they fix and to revalidate it, they need to use Google Search Console. So these two tools are basically the holy grail of core web vitals.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, absolutely good to know that, Garima. Let's quickly move on to how to optimize interaction to next sprint. Like we have understood what it does, where it can be measured. But once I have identified that I have a poor INP score, how can I optimize my INP score?
Yeah, I guess this is a major one which we need to address here. So now that we have comprehended the methods for identifying the factors which contributes towards the poor INP through various tools, so let's now delve into the specific of optimizing the interactions. So as we have already seen that interactions can be broken down into three phases: the input delay, the processing time, and the presentation delay. So the sum of these three phases is the total interaction latency, and every single phase of an interaction contributes some amount of time to total latency, So it's important to know how you can optimize each part of the interaction so that it runs for as little time as possible. So moving further, as we have mentioned, that reduce the input delay component. So first of all, you have to reduce the input delay, which you can do so by reducing and break up the background CPU activities on the main thread. For example, you can look at the total blocking time metrics in the page speed insight to see if there is any background activity that would block user interactions. Let's say we are using some third-party code which is responsible for background tasks. So either we can check if the code is configurable to reduce the amount of work, or if it's possible to only load the third-party script whenever it's required. So this is how you can reduce the input delay. Another component is the processing time. So now you have identified the how you then optimize that CPU activity will depend heavily on your app. So you need to investigate where the browser is spending most of its time and need to optimize those parts. Let's say, for example, if a lot of CPU activity consists of, let's say, layout work. So check if you can reduce those relayoutings. If you need to do some kind of JavaScript processing, so which requires a heavy processing. So you need to identify whether you can consider updating the UI before the starting the CPU task. So this way you can promote the display of the UI part first. The third one is the presentation delay. So the amount of presentation delay can depend on the complexity of the page and how much of the page is updated. Let's say if you are rendering a page which contents gets slow rendered, then you can consider only showing important above the fold content first to deliver the next frame more quickly. So these are the some basic steps that you can follow to optimize your site's performance and reduce all the three components of user interactions.
Okay. So Garima, before we go ahead with the live demo, I have received a question from one of our publisher, Mr. Yash, and it is very much related to the reduce in the presentation delay, which you have just discussed about. So his question is, since INP considers the journey of a page load, will improving the LCP also improves the INP scores? Are they related?
Definitely. These kinds of issues will overall the performance of the site will get improved. Hence, improving any kind of metrics which involves like LCP is what? LCP is again the delay in the presentation, in the visual impact. So and these all kinds of delays occurs because of your heavy CPU utilizations, your JavaScript executions. So indirectly, they are all related. All the core web vitals are indirectly related to each other. So we need to focus on removing the main opportunities, which we will show in next slides. So yes, these are interrelated and can be fixed.
So in a nutshell, if the largest contentful paint, which is the largest part of my visible screen, is not loading, and that also comes under the overall delay where the user is seeing a meaningful presentation, right? So it does impact
Right.
the overall INP as well. I
Right.
also have another question where publisher has asked, does ads affect the INP load time?
If we are loading on them on the first fold, then definitely they will impact the INP score. But if you manage to render them in some user input in a nutshell or below the fold content, then it won't.
Okay. I have also received another question, how to improve that for WordPress website when we have lots of plugins, how to extract the particular code which affects this. So I think we are going to cover this in the live demo, that how you can identify which all are the piece of codes which are hampering your INP score, how you can fix that, whether they are third-party scripts, whether they are your own website scripts. So we all will understand that. I also have received that training can be given in local languages. So yes, very soon we would be having our training session plans in other languages as well. So we will update you when we plan that. So stay tuned on our social media channel as well. You can also visit our website www.mediologysoftware.com. We'll keep posting about the new updates and the new webinars which we are planning. So without further ado, I will quickly move on to live demo. So Garima, now over to you.
Thank you, Hemant. Let me just share my screen. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Garima, it is visible.
Okay. So here we have used the page speed insight tool to get the result or the performance of our internal URL, where you can see at the top, you can see there is an information tab in front of first input delay, which says that FID was removed as a core web vital in March 24, and it's replaced with INP. So basically here we are getting the INP as a 161 millisecond, which we have already explained that below 200 is a good score. But if you can move down, you can learn more about this by clicking on the link here, Introduction to Next Min. Moving towards the lab data, where you can see various opportunities or the various metrics in red as well. So this depicts that even after having the green score for our metrics, we can still have the opportunities to improve it further. Like we can see the total blocking time as 1.4 seconds. So you can further move down to identify the opportunities which we have to improve our site performance. You get in this area, you get all the opportunities which you can use or to improve your site's performance, and to filter out for a specific metrics. You can just click on the metrics name and you get to see all the opportunities related to that particular TBT. So as we have mentioned that someone has asked that LCP, TBT, INP is interdependent. You can see here that the opportunities like reduce unused JavaScript, minify JavaScript are very much similar in the TBT as well. So the three main opportunities we are right now seeing is minimize main thread work, which is currently taking 7.2 seconds. So basically it says that the input delay, the CPU processing should be reduced. Like consider reducing the time spent parsing the JavaScripts, the compiling, and the other tasks. Another one is reduce the JavaScript execution time. So the best way to reduce INP is minimizing your CPU processing that happens on your page. You can also run more of your code asynchronously, so that the user gets an immediate UI update, even if some work is still ongoing. The next opportunity says that reduce your JavaScript. So the time spent parsing, compiling, and executing JavaScript should be reduced. Try delivering either smaller JS payloads or defer your scripts. So the overall reduce the third-party impact code. It says that you have to optimize INP by profiling your own website code, as well as reviewing the third-party scripts that may make your website less responsive. To reduce them, you either defer them, you either load them whenever it's necessary, or minimize their usage. So once you are clear with all these opportunities and you fix them in your code, you can move to your core web vitals. Let me just showcase that part as well. I'm just sharing another screen. You can just use this Google Search Console to revalidate your INP URLs with the INP issues inside the core web vitals. Here you get all the URLs related to your mobile sites as well as for your desktop. So you can fix them via exploring the page speed insights opportunities and then revalidate and submit them for revalidation. And that's the way you can improve your site performance. So yeah, I guess that's all from my end, Hemant. Over to you.
So thank you, Garima. One point which we all need to make sure is what Garima showed are the opportunities of one particular URL which we kind of diagnosed. these opportunities may differ for your URLs on the basis of what kind of code you have added, what kind of functions or features you have on your page, what kind of third-party widgets you have added. So these opportunities will change. So you would require to do the review for that. I'll quickly share my screen, and we have some news for you. So I'll just quickly move on to that. Okay. So with this, we are also planning to have our same session in Hindi first, and then we would be moving on to other regional languages. The upcoming webinars are privacy sandbox and third-party cookie deprecation. That is going to be effective for all Chrome users by the end of June this year. We have talked a lot about third-party cookie crumble in past years, and for years, Google has kind of pushed the deprecation, but now it will come into practice by June. So we need to ready with what all publishers need to do to make the impact on their website lesser, and the performance can be improved. And then there are some Google tools which we want you to use to fine tune your content strategy. So please be stay tuned with us for the dates which will be announced very soon. You can follow us on our social media channels. You can also visit our website, which is www.mediologysoftware.com. As it just happened, we have redesigned the website, so just do have a look at that. And we will keep posting about our future updates. And the most important thing, we would be sharing the recording of this session on our Mediology Software website page. So you can go and have a look at that. And you can also share internally with your technical teams and your product managers and the product team, so that you can create a journey in terms of optimizing your INP and get ready for the higher performance and more search volume. So thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you soon in our sessions, and have a good day. Thank you all.
Thank you.